Hello everybody, I'm Joe Ray, editor of Lowrider Magazine.
And I'm Kiko Velarde, co-founder of Escape Plan and the director of Lowrider Role Models.
And we're here today to do a special episode on Lowrider Role Models, where we're going to go over a few highlights of what made this series so popular and talk about how this show all began.
How long ago did we meet, Joe? We met back in what?
I'd say we met somewhere around 2013 when we did a couple of stints on Jay Leno's Garage.
That's right. Yeah, that's when I was supervising producer of Jay Leno's Garage, and we did the special Lowrider episode. We did two. We did one for the YouTube show, and we did one for the TV series. I thought it was a brilliant idea when you and Rudy brought the show to me, and you guys were like, we have this idea for a show. We want to do something that's kind of like breaking the stereotypes of lowriders. And I thought it was brilliant because I think there is a heavy stereotype that is associated with lowriders. So when you guys brought the show to me, I was absolutely 100% on board. I felt like it was something that needed to be done, it needed to be said, and it was an amazing opportunity that I was on board for. The amazing, beautiful part is that these people live professional lives. They're heroes of their communities. They're changing people's lives with the culture, with the lowrider culture and everything they're doing. So I think it's a beautiful thing, and I think it's really changed my perspective because I never really had a stereotype towards lowriders. I always knew there's just beautiful people behind the culture, but I think it opened my eyes to the heroes of the community that really showed me what everyone is doing within their community with these cars and taking it to the next level, into the next generation, which I think is a beautiful thing.
It's always about trying to get the right recognition, the right story about who we really are. We're normal people. And in many of the lowriders series that we've done, we've had doctors.
Yes.
We've had law enforcement, police officers, we've had military heroes, CFOs, you name it, they've been out there. And we've always wanted to get that word out there, to get our foot in the door so people could believe that, we're respectable people, that to become a lowrider role model, you cannot cut corners. You have to earn your way there. And every one of these stories had, like I said, trials and tribulations. They had their rough times of making the grade. And they've become mentors. Some of their stories very inspirational,
Absolutely.
As we've said. So we've been doing this for quite some time now, and through all the different episodes of Lowrider Role Models, we've met we met 24 people, different individuals who had all inspirational stories.
Absolutely.
Went through trials and tribulations.
Yeah.
And some of them were our favorites.
Yes.
There were a few of them on there that became my hero. Which ones are your favorite?
Oh man, all of them have a special place in my heart, but I think there's a handful that I truly love. I think Miguel Alatorre was one of my first ones that hit home. Miguel Alatorre was our first soldier story we told in was it season 1. Yeah. I think with Miguel, it was a beautiful thing because Miguel really opened up. He didn't hold back. He told us the real deal, what he was going through, what he had went through with him and his family going to war. I think at that point, I realized the power of this series. I realized what we can do with this series and what it could do, because Miguel was just so open, and his message was he brought it home, and it really gave me a whole new respect for our military and our servicemen. It really opened my eyes.
And that, since you mentioned military, Jose Navarro's story, which I just saw this morning again.
I think Jose's story was amazing. I think the beautiful thing between Jose's story and Miguel's story, the common thread, was that when they got back home, literally lowriding, working on their cars, fixing up their cars was therapeutic to them. It was what helped them get through the rough times. And Jose's story is another amazing story. He got hit directly with I believe it was an RPG, and they didn't think he was going to live. They sent his mom to Germany so she could say her last goodbyes, and he survived. He woke up on his 22nd birthday.
5 years in that hospital.
Yeah, and he was 5 years in a wheelchair. Mm-hmm. 5 years in a wheelchair, and through that, he was working on his car. As his car was getting fixed up, he was as well. By the time his car was done, he was walking.
and his buddies try to push him on, to get him to take extra steps, you know, and it shows in that scene where he starts to walk and all. They started working on his car for him. The whole club got together and did that for him, and he saw people trying to help him, so he figured out, hey man, I got to help myself do this too. Then we have K from the Door, and that K from the Door is into hopping performance, hydraulic performance. I've never been able to hop a car in my life. I don't have that rhythm, but you need to pull a cable about 15, 20 feet out of the way, because the cars, when they go up and they come down, they lose control, and they don't actually come down where they take off from. So they move around. So it's very rare that you see anybody just go up to a door and hit their hydraulics, and that's where she got her name at, From the Door. But you can see her hardship. She's from another country.
Yeah.
And she loves the whole culture of low riding.
Yeah.
And she had her trials and tribulations too. She had problems. She had an eating disorder, and her parents didn't know if they were going to be able to pull her out of this, what it was going to take. And she talked to them and said, I want a car. And it was, you know, it was a 59 Impala. And then it just goes on. Then she moves over here, and then you see her in the video actually welding, reinforcing frames, and she loves the whole thing. And that's everything to her, to the point where her mother believed in whatever she wanted, pulled her away from where she was headed, put her on another road, that she even came over here and visited us here in the States and was there to support her daughter. And now, because of the numbers she has, half the world supports that story. It's our more popular video so far. There were also other women role models that had cars. And there was Angie, kindergarten teacher.
Right.
You know, she brought up the things that happened in her life when she was a little girl, going into elementary school where she wasn't allowed to speak Spanish. Her goal, and you know, she got in trouble for it, but you know, look what she wound up becoming. She became, because of those hardships, she became a school teacher, which I think is the best job anybody can have as a role model today.
Absolutely. And then we got Griselda, a single mom who works for the National Corps for the affordable housing. You know, she's making changes in her life, you know, and she's making huge strides in her community because of everything she went through, you know. There's people there to help her at the time when she was younger to try to get into affordable housing. And then she ended up taking on that business, and now she's kind of returning the favor, I think, which is a beautiful thing.
And we had Lulu.
Oh,
started
Lulu.
the Boo Foundation.
The Boo Foundation, absolutely.
I mean, great mentors. There's just a lot of people who are mentors to a lot of other people out there.
Absolutely, and like I said before, you know, they're really taking the culture and changing and not forgetting where they came from, and returning the favor and being heroes of the community. And I think right now that's what we need. You know, I think that's what we need for the younger generation, to see all these stories and see, like, that could be me too. I could still go to school. When they hear these stories of struggle and perseverance, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, you people are going through that right now. I love reading the YouTube comments, and believe me, we read all the YouTube comments, and where people are saying, you know, I needed that today. I was really bummed out. I was going to drop out of school. I was going to quit my job because I just felt like, you know, this was just like not working out for me. I'm never going to make it. And then they watch these stories and they say, wow, they went through what I'm going through now. And this story is, you know, really touched me and it's given me hope, you know. I mean, I think that defines the series right here is just the word hope, is giving that hope back to the community.
So Kiko, we're going to jump right into season 3 now.
Awesome.
And already on that list, we have women in the military, we have paramedics, we have highway patrols, and that's not even to cut half through that list we have so far. So it sounds like it's even going to be more exciting than the previous 2.
Yeah, it's going to be a great season, and we want to just say thank you to all our viewers. We really appreciate you guys watching the series. We create the series for you. You know, we create this to tell your stories and share your car culture. And we really appreciate you guys watching, and you know, continue to watch the series, continue to share it on Facebook and Instagram and everywhere you can, because the more you share it, the more stories we can tell, and we can continue with the series. And we really appreciate everything that you guys are doing for us and for the show. And huge kudos to Quaker State and Shell, because they definitely believed in the series. They believed in the message of what we were trying to do. They just let us tell our story. They really didn't try to shape the story to try to make the product look better. It's been one of the best brands I've ever worked with.
Okay, we want to take this special time to thank everybody, all the viewers who have supported this show as we look forward to entering season 3.